that's true. Naked Palpatine.
Oh, you pick that one. Fresh out of the clone tank, nude Palpatine is my
Well, that's the first thing I think of when you say Dark Empire Palpatine.
Hello everybody, and welcome to the final, at least so far, of the Bauchelian and Korbal Broach novellas. We have Fiends of Nightmaria. Now, these don't really connect to the main Malazan books in like any way, shape, or form, whether it be Ian C. Asimov or Steven Erikson. They do have a kind of through line in of themselves together. Like, we have characters in here from Crackpot Trail and a couple other stories I'll kind of mash together here. But it's a lot of fun. It's really fun. Bauchelian is now king of this place, and he's trying to rule as a tyrant. Doesn't seem to be completely enjoying it. But he summons some demons to try to kill or attack a indifferent god. That's the name of the god, is an indifferent god. Shenanigans ensue. If you were disappointed in the last one not having these two characters, rest assured this one is more a balance of the other stories where new characters, Bauchelian, Emanciparies, One thing you'll notice if you go through all these is sort of this slow build-up of a friendship between Bauchelian and Emanciparies, because as you can tell, I mean, Bauchelian likes the attention. He likes having an audience for whatever he's going to do. And Korbal Broach is a very simple-minded individual. He's a partner for sure, but he doesn't really care about talking that much. He likes to, if you ask him to do something with dead people, he'll listen. But otherwise, he's not too interested into what you have to say. So, Emanciparies kind of fills the category of being our eyes and ears, our self-insert, while also being an audience for Bauchelian. And they have this sort of friendship that grows throughout all these books. It's not like harped on or very like a big point of the stories, but you think back to when they first met, and Emanciparies was very like awkward around them, would ask if he could do certain things. But by this point, I mean, there's literally a scene where Emanciparies is just drinking wine while like Bauchelian's talking to someone, because he's just at that comfortable state now where he's just kind of like used to it and he's fine with it. But also these books are just incredibly funny. There's this one scene with these satanic circles or whatever, because Bauchelian's going to summon a demon, and he tells Emanciparies to stay perfectly still, because it might ruin the ritual if he doesn't, and to stay quiet because he needs to concentrate. And that he's like, why am I here? And he's like, well, don't worry. And it's just going to be so that when the demon appears, if I've done everything correctly, as I'm 99.9% sure I have. He didn't say that, but he was just saying he was very sure. And then it shall come to attack you, but it won't be able to, because I have set the necessary precautions. Although, if a single cat hair were to get on there, that might ruin things and break the binding. Meanwhile, there's like a dozen cats in the room. And then Emanciparies says, shouldn't we do this in another room then? And Bauchelian's like, you'll be fine, trust me. And it's stuff like that. It's so fun. And a nice breather from the heaviness of Malazan, or as it can be sometimes. But yeah, I don't have too many spoilers or anything. The Fiends of Nightmaria, they this is a slight spoiler, but like they named the place Nightmaria because they wanted to keep people away from their civilization. They're also lizard people, apparently. So like, lizards, but not Kachin Shmel. So I guess an offshoot of the Kachin Shmel. I don't know what else they could be. It doesn't really go into detail about them. It's not really important. But if you notice when they're talking to Bauchelian, they kind of, the words on the page are slurred because they got that sa. It's the same way that if you read the Star Wars Expanded Universe, for like Saba Sabatine, who's a lizard type race, she'll end a lot of her sentences with like Z's, like lasers, or that's not a good example. No, yeah, that actually is lasers with an S, but she'll use a Z, stuff like that. But anyway, it sounds like they're saying that they want that they're friends, friends. Um, but their all-out war goes with these people, and there's dead bodies attacking, there's demons attacking. It's a whole thing. Um, and of course, by the end of the story, Bauchelian and them they just walk away from utter destruction. Um, I don't know if they're really evil. I'd say they're instruments of chaos, because I think Bauchelian's pretty amoral, because he can be decent at times. He can also be horrible at times. But he's not out here to destroy the entire world or anything. So I think he's an amoral, agent of chaos. Like an agent of chaos. But sorry, that's my Joker. But I've really enjoyed all of these. I don't really want to get too much into spoilers about it, because I think part of the fun is reading it. But we do have, again, the artist from Crackpot Trail, or the critic, I should say, Apto Canivlian, whatever, who is the anagram for AP Cameron, aka on YouTube, A Critical Dragon. So it's fun to get that through line through the last story into this one, that this takes place after. So that's fun. But yeah, I mean, if Steven Erikson were to write more stories with these characters, I would be all for it. I mean, there's kind of an endless amount of stuff you could do with them. Sorry about that. There's an endless amount of stuff you could do with them, and I could read them forever, because I think they're a lot of fun. But yeah, I mean, do I recommend it? Absolutely. If you've been enjoying these stories, then you should finish with this one. Um, they're fun, they're light, not too much to them. I mean, there's a lot there in terms of meta commentary with stuff, especially the last one. But they're fun little shorter reads that you could either read, before Malazan, or I wouldn't read it before, but on a reread, I would probably do the first collection before, and Bleeders of Lear's Mouth before Memories of Ice, and then I would do Memories of Ice, and then, since they haven't shown up again in like any of these stories, I would read the rest of these like right after Memories of Ice, just so you have that, like, you still give a damn about them, because like I go so many books without them, and it's like, oh, let's go back to them. They're still doing their crazy thing off to the side. So, Korbal, I don't really have anything to say about Korbal. He's Korbal. He likes to mess with dead things. That's his whole thing. So, you know, and Emancipator Reese is a really fun character continuously. But yeah, sorry if I'm kind of vague on everything. I just want you to read it. It's too short to like go into extreme detail. Part of the fun is like not exactly knowing what you're getting into. So I feel like the little blurb I gave you is enough. But yeah, they're fun. And the Bauchelian Korbal stories as a whole, I think, are a huge net positive. Because, you have Malazan, which is usually, very serious. I mean, it has comedy throughout, but like it's a serious thing, and it's a long investment of your time. But these are nice little short spurts that you can enjoy the Malazan formula in sort of a shortened version, also having like the humor kind of compacted into a little story. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I've done it all. I've read all the Bauchelian and Korbal until they give us more stories with it. If he does ever do that, I don't know. But from what I read, I'm glad I did. Like I said, Crackpot Trail is probably the hardest if you don't know what you're getting into. But outside of that, a lot of fun. Up next, I have Stonewielder by Ian C. Esmond. And then we return to Erikson's books with Toll the Hounds, the 8th novel in the Book of the Malazan, or in the Malazan Book of the Fallen series. Till then, guys. See ya.